Hello ladies, gents, and everyones, and welcome back. It is Thursday, April 8th, and we're here to talk about this week's space and astronomy news. Over on Mars, our favorite extraterrestrial helicopter has finally completed its deployment from the Perseverance rover. So Ingenuity was actually disconnected from the rover on April 3rd, and the rover traveled a few feet away. Now this meant that Ingenuity had to survive the night on its own, which means it had to keep itself warm overnight, and it did. So that was really great news. The helicopter will continue doing tests over the next couple days, and NASA is targeting as early as this Sunday for the first attempt at powered flight on another planet ever, which is so exciting. And if you weren't excited enough, they also released this selfie of Ingenuity and Perseverance, which is amazing, and just, yeah, really looking forward to this attempt. Hopefully everything goes well. The James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST, is continuing moving forward for its launch date later this year. And it just recently completed folding its sun shield. Now that might not sound like a big deal, but this is actually a month-long process where they have to fold up 5 separate layers that are each about the thickness of a human hair, that have 90 tensioning cables, and they have to pack it all up so that it can go into the rocket. And the next time this sun shield unfolds, it will be in space. And if the sun shield doesn't work, the whole telescope kind of doesn't work. So it's a really critical piece of equipment on the telescope. So really great that they got that done. NASA also announced the Cycle 1 proposals that have been selected for the General Observer Program. So these are the scientific programs that are going to get time on the telescope during its first year of operation. There were 286 programs selected, and these range from anything from observing comets in our own solar system to looking at galaxies in the very early ages of the universe during reionization. So a huge span of science that JWST is going to help enable, and I think I speak for everyone in astronomy when I say we are very, very, very ready for this thing to finally get into the sky. If you're a regular viewer or just a general space nerd, you probably know that Starship SN11 launched last week and blew up upon its landing attempt. The cause was not known at the time, but Elon Musk announced on Twitter, as he does, that it was actually due to a methane leak. Now this has been repaired for the next prototype, which is SN15. So of course, every time something like this happens, these explosions, they learn something new and they're able to fix it for future versions. So it exploded in new ways every time, which is really exciting. So we don't have an exact date yet for SN15, but it should be rolled out to the launch pad tomorrow and could be starting its testing, like static test fire and everything, on Monday. So sometime next week, perhaps. Now, usually I don't like to play favorites among my news stories, but I will say that this week I saved the best for last. So you may recall back in February, we talked about the Muon G-2 experiment. Now this is an experiment at Fermilab where they are attempting to measure the magnetic moment of a muon, which is a type of subatomic particle. Now back in February, they were doing the unblinding, which was really exciting because basically these scientists were working on this experiment for years without even knowing what the results were to try and remove some of the bias from the process. So back in February, they were kind of able to enter this key that unlocked the results for them. And now they have been able to unlock the results for the general public. So they had a press conference yesterday where they announced their results. Now, for context, the standard model, which is basically how physicists understand the particles that make up everything in the universe, predicts a magnetic moment of 2 for the muon. However, a previous experimental result at Brookhaven had indicated that it might actually be slightly greater than 2. And that's why this experiment is called Muon G-2, because they were looking to see how much it might exceed 2. And what they found is that it does. At least they think it does. So basically the Fermilab results agreed with the previous results and were even more precise. So when you combine them now, this is now 4.2 sigma evidence that the muon's magnetic moment is greater than 2. Now, you may recall we've talked before that in particle physics, 5 sigma is kind of the standard for something to be considered a discovery. So this is not yet considered a discovery, but 4.2 sigma is very, very strong evidence that basically the standard model is not correctly predicting the magnetic moment of a muon, which is cool. And if this sounds vaguely familiar, you might remember that back in March, we talked about recent results from the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland. And they had found, not measuring this particular thing, but measuring a different part of the standard model, a 3-ish sigma result that was inconsistent with the standard model. So now we have two separate pieces of evidence that are quite strong that the standard model might not be accurate. And so it's looking very plausible that the standard model is going to need to be updated or corrected. And this is really exciting news. It might not sound like it. It might sound like, oh no, we don't understand physics. But it's like, we get to find new physics. We get to learn more about the universe. And this is really exciting. And we don't know what they're going to uncover and what, so yeah, this is really exciting news, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out of theoretical physics with these recent experimental results. Well, that's all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy these videos, you can always like and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to get notified. You can also find me on lots of sites all over the web. I have a link below for my link tree, so you can find me on other sites if you're interested. I do these news videos every Thursday, and I do science videos on Monday related to astronomy and astrophysics. So yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again next week. Bye.